Grab your sea legs and your eye patches because it's all pirates in this Creator 3-in-1 showcase. G'day YouTube, down to Brixton. Welcome to this week's video. That's right, we are showcasing the 3-in-1 Creator Pirate set. It is set 31109, has 1,264 pieces, comes with 3 minifigs and a skeleton. And if you're wondering what's going on here, after last week's video, where I did a haul video and I picked up 2 of these sets, well, after that video, I was thinking, you know what? You guys deserve to see all 3 builds. So I went out and picked up another set, and I have been very busy this week building and filming so I could bring you this video. So I hope you do enjoy it. And if you're keen for it, give it a thumbs up, give it an early thumbs up. But we've got stacks to get through because I want to show you each of these builds. I want to show you all the minifigs, things you can do to change things up a little bit. We've got lots of little mini builds I want to show you as well. Plus, I want to tip out all the parts that you have left over from each build so you can really see all the pieces and what you might be able to do with those pieces to expand on these sets, which leads me to say, what am I going to do? I'm sort of thinking here because I'm still not quite sure. I want to talk it through with you guys. What am I going to expand on here? What are the possibilities? So we'll cross all that off the list. So we've got lots to get into. So let's make a start. And I think because we'll spend most of the time on the ship, let's knock over these 2 alternate builds first. So the first set we're going to start with is the Rustic Pirate Inn, and this is the second biggest build out of the 3. Before we get started, let's just show you very quickly the instruction books that you get. So you get a massive chunky as book here. Now this main book has the build for the inn and the pirate ship, and then you get a second book for Skull Island. But let's talk about the Pirate Inn. So first of all, it always amazes me what Lego can do with these 3-in-1 builds. And it's really good fun too. It's a little bit of old school doing the 3-in-1 builds because you have to tip out all of the bags and just rummage through the almost 1,300 pieces to build something like this. And so it takes a little bit longer to build the alternate builds because of that. It takes a lot more of sorting through the parts to find what you need. But it's, like I said, it's a little bit old school. It takes me back to when you just tipped out all the bags and you didn't have numbered bags. But let's get on with this little build. So we have a few little features here as well. Of course, we have our water wheel, which we can spin around. If we look at the roof here, I really like the design of this roof. They've just thrown some extra pieces, grills and plates and tiles and whatnot, just to give it a more of a detailed look. We can hinge this up and then you can see the rafters here, which I think is very clever. What I really love about this roof piece is this angled front here, and the way they've achieved this is using ball joints and hinging it on a ball joint, and you get a little bit of movement there as well. I think that is a brilliant idea. And what really ties this into a pirate theme, I guess, is the crow's nest here with a little bit of a sail, because really you could take that off and probably put this in a medieval build. You know, if you've got a castle and you've got a little village section of your castle, this would fit in very nicely. So starting at the front here, we have our entrance into the inn. We have a barrel of ale out the front. So this is where you're going to come and knock the head off a big frosty one, and pirate style. So I think here what you could probably do with this is expand it and have a dock and maybe some more water around it and have your boats out the front. That'd be pretty cool. But it's really just got some nice detail all around it. So down this side we have a lantern here. We actually have rigging here, and I've just hung the skeleton off it, but it all works. A little game tree works here. You can wind it down there, dip him in the water, give him a bath, wind him back up. If we go around to this side, very good use of pieces here. I mean, all it's using is green studs, plates, and some slopes to give a look of foliage growing up the side, and I think they've done a really good job with that. If I had to say anything about it, the studs showing on the front here, I don't mind that. We've got some on the side, some on this side showing, but I think maybe if we had covered up a few of those, we certainly had enough pieces to do that. I think that might have been a little bit better, but I mean, that's really nitpicking, isn't it? So if we look down this side here, again, just more detail down the side. I mean, there's things that they don't have to do, but they've got the pieces and it really adds to the build. But of course, the main thing with this build is it does open up. So let's bring it around here and we can open it up. First of all, let's just have a look from the back. I guess one thing you could say, it's not a complete build, it's not completely sealed, but when you look at sets nowadays, when you get a build, you really just get the front of a building. I mean, some sets you get like a four stud wide front of a building, so at least it's a lot more substantial. Yes, it's not closed in at the back, but it is a nice decent build, and you can open it up and you've got lots going on inside. So we've got our accommodation up top, which you've got a few beds in there, you've got some guns hanging on the wall, other bits and pieces there. And I like just little things they've done, like the inside of the studs on this wall here, where they're using tiles and slopes, and they're really just to cover it up and just add more detail to it. I think that's really nice. We've got a little bar area, you've got some seats here where you can sit and have a nice cold one, and of course you can spin the wheel on the inside here like this too, just by rotating that. But just little things like building little steps into it inside. I mean, how clever is that? It just slips inside here, you don't even know they're there, but when you open up you've got some nice little stairs for the minifigures. So little things like that I just think are very clever. So with our other little builds we get with this set, we get a little horse and carriage. So, I mean, it's always going to be hard building an animal with the pieces that we get to choose with Lego. I mean, overall, I think they've done a pretty good job on this horse. I like the little wagon. My favourite thing about it is the use of, and I'm knocking pieces off, is the use of these round plates for the wheels. I really like that. I think that is quite clever. And we do get a little bird. Now we do get two birds. I've got to say this is probably the better of the two, but at the end of the day, I've got to say for me it doesn't quite cut it. Yeah, you know it's a bird. You can picture it as a bird, but yeah, honestly, I probably think it looks better without it. But yeah, overall, I think Lego did a really good job with his alternate build, and that is our pirate, our Rustic. I'll get it right eventually. Oh, me mateys, it's a Rustic pirate in. Okay. One last thing to do before we move on is show you the parts left over from this build. So if you only build this from the set, this is the bowl of parts you're going to have left over, and it is quite substantial. There's lots of good parts here. I tell you what, overall this is a really good parts pack too. If you're just wanting to increase your part selection in your own kitty, this is a pretty good set for that. So we have things like cannons left over. I'll show this a little bit better, but yeah, lots of parts, lots of options to even expand on this if you wish, and you even get a lot of the rigging pieces left over, and I think that is a very handy piece to have. So here we have our smallest of the three builds, the mysterious Skull Island. And the thing that really stands out for me is just the look of this island. the skull in particular, I just think this is fantastic. What Lego did here with the pieces they had to build a complete skull, I just think is really outstanding. So it's really just a lot of plates built up, so it's quite substantial size. So it's a nice little island, so it's definitely something you could use to expand on your other pirate sets that you have. It's really a good size for that. And it does have a few little extras as well. Things like the brick built tree. I mean, would I prefer a tree with some foliage on it? Definitely I would, but I think Lego were quite clever with what they did here with this brick built tree. We do get a monkey as well. I mean, that's, yeah, it is a monkey. It is a monkey. What more can I say? We get a couple other little builds here as well. So we get a raft, and I think that one's pretty cool. But I really think my favorite out of the small builds for this is a little dinghy here. And just brick built, it just reminds me so much of the pirate ship and the building style with the studs and the slopes and whatnot down the side. I actually think I prefer this over the molded little boats that we get. I like it that much. I probably prefer to have the molded oars that we get than the brick built ones, but overall I think that is fantastic. And what else have we got with Skull Island here? Of course, we've got our skeleton hiding down here, but we do actually get a play feature. Believe it or not, we do get a play feature. So you can see it's built into the back here. And what does that do? Well, if you rotate it, up comes the skull. You can go inside, and inside we have a real treasure trove in there. We have our chest, and we've got lots of gold in there. So yeah, if you're willing to take the risk of going in the skull, you can do that and come out with a bounty of goods. But yeah, it's not much, but I really like this. I think that is very cool indeed. And one of the best things about this build is it's a great build, but check out the pieces that you get left over. We have a whole container. Look at that. I had to get out a big container to put it all in. Again, we have the rigging, but have a look at that. I mean, that is just a whole stack of parts left over. And now, of course, we have the main build, the pirate ship itself. And I've got to say, I really do fancy this build. My favorite thing probably about it was just that, the build itself. It was really enjoyable building the hull of the boat. I mean, normally with a pirate ship like this, you just put the whole pieces together and then you get cracking on it. But to actually build it from the plate, the very first plate up, was very enjoyable. And the way you go about it is this center section here. You build that whole center piece first, this piece right here, and then you build the bow and the stern onto it. And they actually build as 3 separate pieces, and then you clip them all together, and then you start joining them when you start filling in the top section. So I guess we'll go with the things that I really like. I have got a couple of little things. I mean, a lot of them are just nitpicks, but let's first of all, some of the features you got with it. You can open up the back here as you normally can with all the pirate ships they do. You get inside, got some nice detail for the captain's quarters. You can actually flip the top up as well. You have got the sail here, but you can flip that up. You can actually move these sails as well, which is very nice. You can move them all independently. So if you want to display it with a side wind, you can do that. Having a look from the back, again, there's just lots of nice detail in it. I mean, to pour 1,300 pieces into this set is quite impressive when a lot of pirate ships are like, you know, 700, 800, 1,000 pieces. To have 1,300 pieces into a set is quite impressive. But because of it being totally brick built, it does mean it is a little bit on the small side. Now overall, I think it's quite good. If I hold in my hand like this, I mean, it's not a tiny set. It is quite good, but if you put it up against another pirate set and another pirate ship, it does look quite small, and we will do that. We'll do a quick comparison. We get a couple of cannons on the inside there. I mean, really, the fun in this is really the build. And what else? What else? Before we talk about my main gripe with it, the rigging. I love the rigging. I really do. Yes, it doesn't look quite like traditional rigging would, but it really works well. And to have this new color, I'm pretty sure it's a new colored piece, I think it really does work. We haven't got the sagging round about, you know, with the string over time and whatnot. Again, with the sails, the brick-built sails, there's no sagging of sails. So they are all positives. With the sails, I wasn't quite sure how I'd like them, and even on building, I sort of thought, I'm still not sure. But the more I look at it, the more I really do appreciate these brick-built sails, and I had every intention of swapping them out and making my own paper sails for it. But you know what, I think I'm actually going to leave the brick-built sails, but I do have more plans for this set, but I'll talk about that shortly. So what else? Well, one thing I really do like, and it caught me by surprise because seeing the picture, I really didn't like it, but in person, I really love it. And that's the figurehead, the mermaid figurehead. And maybe you're seeing the same thing I saw looking at box art and pictures. You think, yeah, I'm not sure about that on video, but I tell you what, I love it. And that was something I was definitely going to swap out as well, but no way in the world. I love it. I'm going to keep the mermaid figurehead. So one of my other favorite things about this, as I said, was the build, but the hull, to build this hull up using the studs, the slopes, all the curved pieces. I mean, it's really quite ingenious. I learned a few things putting this together, and that's always good when you build a Lego set like this. What I'm going to say though, probably my biggest negative on it, and when it's all together with the sails, it doesn't quite stand out so much, but it is the bow of the ship. It really is quite stumpy. If you take the figurehead away and the sail away, it really is quite abrupt. And that's probably the biggest thing that draws me back. Like I said, when it's all together like this, it's fine, but I do feel like the nose should have been extended out a little bit. But if I have to pick other things, I mean, like I said, I really have to search here. The helm. I would have liked the helm piece that we have on all the other pirate ships. I would have preferred that over this. And the only other thing, and look, I really have to stretch here, is the bottom plates here. Using the dark tan for these bottom plates to start the build on. I would have preferred for that to blend in and maybe have them as reddish brown, and it just wouldn't have sort of stood out. But of course, when you're looking over like that, you're not looking down there, so it doesn't really stand out at all. But you know, I guess that's probably one thing if I had to pick something. But overall, I really think it is a great set. And because of the build and because of the things that it taught me and showed me as I put this together, it's really got me thinking, well, what can I do to expand on it? So what I am going to do, which I had all these plans, I was going to, you know, make it bigger, make it wider, do all this, my own sails, all that. Well, I'm going to really cut that back. And what I just want to do with it is just make it a little bit bigger. So what I'm going to do, as I said, it's built in sections. I'm just going to build this mid section again and just expand on that. Now, it's not going to be that simple because it does all join up. Once you clip it together, you do have to join all the top section up. So it's going to take some work to actually to get that to work. And that's one of the things I love about this. It's really going to be a challenge. I'm not just going to slap in another hull piece. I'm really going to have to redesign a lot of it to bring it all together. So I'll have extra cannon ports. I'll put another 2 cannon ports in with all the extra pieces I have. I've got plenty of cannons I can use to fill that out. And I am going to look at this front piece. So I want to use some of the curved pieces. I want to see if I can build this front up a little bit more and bring it out a little bit. It may mean that I can't use these pieces, and I think that was the main sticking point. They wanted this as the rail piece, and it sort of it's just too abrupt. So I think I'll do something else and just bring out the nose a little bit, maybe bring the nose up a little bit as well, so it can just carve through those waves. I think that would be pretty good. And because I'd expand on the length a little bit, I wouldn't do anything with the width. I think it's quite fine. Just make it a little bit longer. I'd actually put in another sail, another whole mast and sail as well. So what I might do is maybe build this one up a little bit, maybe put that in the middle and put two smaller sails. Not quite sure. There's lots to do. It's actually, like I said, it's going to be quite tricky to do some of this. I mean, if you're a master builder, you do it in your sleep. But for me, it's going to take a bit of work to actually pull all this off. So I'm actually looking forward to the challenge of it, and then bringing it to you to see what you think of the final product. To have a look at our little mini builds here, we get another bird now out of everything. That would have to be the thing I don't like the most out of all. Even the other bird is a lot better than this one. The shark is rather cool. I've got to say, I like the shark. If I looked at all the mini builds, definitely the dinghy is my favorite. The shark would be my second favorite. And then, you know, the raft and maybe the wagon is pretty cool as well. But I mean, they're really just little fun extras, aren't they? So you can't get held up on that, because it's really about the big builds, and they are all very impressive. And just for a quick comparison, as I said I'd do, I've bought in the Black Pearl. That is one of my smallest ships. So I think it's unfair to say that this is small, but if we have a look alongside, it's kind of neck and neck there, you can see the Black Pearl is a little bit longer. Well, it's quite a bit longer. If we look over the top here, you can see the big difference is the width of the two boats. The Black Pearl is definitely a lot wider, but when you look at the Black Pearl and say that's 800 pieces, this is almost 1,300 pieces. It just goes to show the amount of pieces that go into creating this than just using the molded hull pieces that the Black Pearl and many other of the pirate ships have used. So for me, this was a very good experience for something new, to create the whole piece totally out of traditional bricks. So there we have the showcase done and dusted. I told you we had a lot to talk about with this set. Overall, I absolutely have to say I am thoroughly impressed with this set. It's just so much to offer. My suggestion is buy a set, rip it open, build all three. Build in what order you think is your least favorite to second favorite, and then of course you've got to finish with the ship, because it is clearly the best of these three builds. But if I had to say what would be my second, I'm going to go with Skull Island. As I said, I just love the look of this, so that would be my second pick. But overall, I think they are really good builds, all three of them, and definitely this ship is going to have some work done to it and put on display. But that's all we've got time for today. If you did enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. It is a button. Hit that button, because I've got lots more to show you guys. And this has really got me in a pirate mood, so I might see what I can dig up to bring you guys more pirates. Dig up some pirate treasure maybe. What do you reckon about that? Let me know in the comments. All your thoughts, belt it below. I would love to hear from you. But I'm going to go and have a little lay down, because I'm a little bit knackered after all this. So big thank you for taking the time to watch, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now. Hey.